Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. This is Rant, and today I'd like to talk to you about rare mobs and their development over the years. When World of Warcraft first came out, rares were exactly what you'd expect. Rare monsters, often a variation of normal mobs found around the area, with the iconic silver dragon around their portrait. Finding a rare mob was just a very nice bonus, as they'd reward quite some experience and usually above average loot if compared to a normal quest mob, possibly an uncommon or rare item. It added quite some flavor to questing and farming, and they were usually non-elite monsters, making them soloable and thus just some quick fun. People generally liked this, but in the Burning Crusade expansion, Blizzard decided to make the monsters even rarer. When you would previously come across a rare every now and then in Azeroth, you'd barely ever in Outland. On top of this, the rares were elite mobs with the iconic gold dragon around their portrait, making them not soloable for a lot of people. Blizzard defended this decision as they would be able to make the rare mobs drop nicer loot. Killing it with a group was generally worth it for the loot, but it would completely take you out of that chill questing feel, as you would first need to gather people and wait for them to come over. So rare mobs developed from being chill additions to questing, with an interesting fight, to a mini-boss that would completely take you out of questing. In a patch during the Burning Crusade, Blizzard actually made lots of rare mobs into non-elites, allowing people to kill them on their own. This was of course accompanied by a loot nerf. Even though they changed elite rares in Burning Crusade to non-elites, the rare mobs implemented in Northrland were elite. They were still just about as rare as Outland rares, and achievements to kill all rare mobs in Outland and Northrland were added. Bloody Rare and Frostbitten. The rares in Northrland were not always soloable, but had better loot than average, just like rares in the beginning of the Burning Crusade. However, the rares in Northrland are still elite mobs to this day. There was also the addition of the Time Lost Protodrake, a super rare mob that drops the Time Lost Protodrake mount. In Cataclysm, the rare mobs became even rarer than normal Northrland rares. There wasn't even an achievement added to kill all of them, where previous rares generally had a respawn timer of about a couple of hours. Cataclysm rares can have a respawn timer up to something like 120 hours. Also, a lot of Cataclysm rares drop guaranteed mounts, just like the Time Lost Protodrake in Wrath of the Lich King. Examples are the Reigns of Poseidus, dropped by Poseidus, and the Reigns of the Phosphorescent Stone Drake, dropped by ANX. Worth noting is that all these rares are very possible to solo, so if you ever came across one during questing, it was still just a nice, yet intense, addition to questing. Because of the mount drops, a lot of people started farming these rares instead of counting on luck during questing. Farming could be a real pain due to these super long respawn timers, and the fact that the Cataclysm rares were generally not stationary. I for one have never seen a rare mob during my questing at Cataclysm zones. With the questing revamp of Azeroth, during the Cataclysm, all rare mobs in Azeroth are now soloable and drop at least an uncommon item for almost 100% of the time. In Mists of Pandaria, Blizzard kinda got back to their roots concerning rare mobs. There are about as many personas as you could find in Azeroth. They are rare but not super rare, with rather short respawn timers of a couple hours at max, and they drop above average loot, usually a rare or even an epic item. I for one love this approach of rares, as they are rare but not as rare as they were in Cataclysm. An achievement was added once again for killing each and every one of them, the achievement Glorious. On top of these random rare mobs, Blizzard implemented Zendalari War Scouts and Zendalari Wallbringers. The Scouts can drop reputation tokens and small amount of trading goods, but the Wallbringers can drop huge amount of trading goods, some reputation tokens, and even mounts. The War Scouts were soloable by just about every level 90 class, but the Wallbringers generally required a group to kill in the beginning of the expansion. Some classes like Hunters could solo them anyways. Later on in the expansion, just about everyone could kill them on their own. At the end of the expansion, the Timeless Isle was added, on which you could gather a special kind of currency, Timeless Coins. A lot of rares were implemented with this island, and most of them have a very short respawn timer. This is not a problem, as they generally don't reward good items, but a lot of timeless coins instead. I assume that they were added to add some flavor to timeless coin farming. Some of the timeless hour rares were even elite mobs that were not soloable, like Evermaw. Rare mob almost becomes a wrong term here, as they spawn so often. Some of the rares, like the Crane and Oxforians, can even respawn every 15 minutes or so. This is nothing compared to the Walls of Draenor rare mobs, however. In Walls of Draenor, Blizzard decided to completely counter their vision of rare mobs from the Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King by implementing a shitload of rare mobs with barely any respawn timer at all. You can sometimes see up to 3 or 4 rare mobs on your minimap at once while you're just questing. I think this is ridiculous, as the term rare mobs refers to a mob that is rare, not a mob that is more than common. All these non-elite rare mobs are soloable and reward loot once a day. They can drop rare to epic items with a rather large drop chance. These items are all close to worthless, as you can get get great items from quests that even have a chance to be just as good, with the system that allows quest rewards to be upgraded to rare or epic quality from time to time. I do not feel as pleasantly surprised when I see a rare mob as I did in previous expansions. They've almost become a pain, as you do want to kill them for a chance at that upgrade, but the fights are boring as they become so easy. There's no achievement to kill all of them either, and they lose their silver dragon when you've killed them at least once. Luckily, they've also implemented super rare mobs on top of the boring wave of normal rare mobs, comparable to Cataclysm rares that drop mounts. These super rare mobs are elite and require a big group to kill as they hit very hard and have a lot of health. I personally think Blizzard made a huge cock up considering rares in Waters of Draenor aside from the super rare mount dropping ones. I hope to see a reduction of them in an upcoming patch, but I don't expect one. A bit of a bitter note to end this video with, but it's just the way I see it. I assume that not everyone dislikes the rares in Waters of Draenor as much as I do, so I look forward to hear what you think of them, but unfortunately, this is the way I see it. Good job, Blizz, on going back to your roots considering most aspects of the game, but this is a bit of a bummer. I hope you enjoyed the video and thanks for watching. Goodbye.